uh, we should be able to utilize the scholarship of our esteemed intellectuals in much quicker way. And my contribution is going to be in working in this research institute or working with colleagues in this research institute, where I can provide them ideas about how to convert research into practical ideas. Because research has got basically your academic research basically is very much developing new theories, new methods, new ideas, etc., etc. However, those ideas need to be commercialized into practical project which makes a social impact. That is where I feel that my most significant contribution would come from, because I've got experience. I'm an executive chairman and co-founder of Global Opportunities Commercialization, where we take new businesses, startup businesses, and actually help them to commercialize globally. And one of the important thing about this company is that our ethos is that we want to create a fusion between commercial and social interest, and that is what we work in towards, and we are very mindful of how our work is going to improve the society or improve the planet and so on and so forth. At this point in time, we are working in clean energy areas, we are working in trading areas, in commodities, we are working in investment areas where we provide or help companies, startup companies, to get investment from various places and help them to develop globally. The other thing that I am very much interested in this summit is that in conjunction with our president, Mr. Diwale, uh, and myself are going to present what we call GAPS, which is Global Association of Professional Seniors. And the world population on the whole are uh, moving towards, there is a larger group of people who are retiring or about to retire, 55 plus people, and smaller percentages in terms of young people. Of course, that is not true in India, and perhaps that is not true in most African countries where there is almost 70-80% is around young people. But overall, that is what is happening. And in a very short description, this is a fusion of energy and wisdom. We take young people, help them to develop new ideas, and use the wisdom of people who are also investors in those businesses that emerge from that. And that way, we actually create a fusion of energy of young people with the wisdom of older people with a lot of experience. It has got many advantages. It has got economic advantages for the societies in which they are developed. It has got social advantages in terms of utilizing seniors and who are retired or semi-retired to use their wisdom and not take their wisdom to the graves. Use their wisdom and apply it and create legacies within the society where new ways of doing business for these young people who will then develop to become the same type of leader with wisdom and social consciousness. So this is something that we will put forward as one of the organization as a co-partnership between Diwale and myself. to create this organization which will help to get global seniors, different seniors and have a platform, electronic platform from which it can interact with people around the world and give that interaction even to Indian students, to young Pakistani people, Indonesian people, etc., etc., etc. So there is that interaction, because this interaction between students and young people in different parts of the world will actually also create peace in the long run. And without peace, there is no world at all. There is no life. I look into the eyes of my grandchildren, and I often ask myself that there has to be a peaceful world for them to grow and to live, and so on and so forth. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Dr. Sharia. I mean, if I can come in right here just for a moment. Thank you very much, Dr. Sharia. I mean, I'm very happy that you mentioned something that we're both passionate about, which is the creation of I think this came about on my birthday, if you remember, when I was in quarantine with this COVID quarantine after I traveled to South Sudan. The issue of the gaps, if you see, we waste trillions of dollars almost every day, or probably every day. Imagine, considering the number of people that left us in this world. The knowledge that we lose can be turned into greater assets for society. And that's how we came about the creation of, which will be launched also in India, which is called GAPS, Global Alliance of Professionals, Seniors. Now, the point is, you realize that when you have the word called retirees, pensioners. So imagine those that coined those words called pensioners. The word goes down, pensioners, retirees. Doesn't say retirees, no, it's down. So it's as if it's the end of life. Whereas if you look at the potentials, enormous knowledge these people have had over the last 60, 70 years, and then they come to about 70 of retirement, and they feel that's the end of their life because they have been put in that bracket. Whereas there is no structure in place to help to galvanize that sort of knowledge they have and help them, just like we forgot about our young children that came up with what is called a hobby, which can make every child, if we were able to nurture those gifts and for them to realize potentials, the world lacks nothing, because we have great potentials to make the world better place. But we forget the fact that these young people have got great talents through their hobbies that they can turn into wealth. So that is lost there. Then when you also look at the ones that are older, you brand them into retirees and pensioners, and they die with all the knowledge they've gathered, experience they've got over years. We give an example, this lady here in England that did Harry Potter. She's about 50, 60 when she came with the idea of coming with Harry Potter. Harry Potter is $1 billion sales now. You know, so because she was one of many that could have created such a big wealth. So similarly, when you have people like Bill Gates that fell out of school, you have Zuckerberg of Facebook fell out of school, you have even the one of Apple fell out of school, even to the extent that even the richest man in the UK never went to university. Same as you have, what's it called? The former Prime Minister, John Major, here in the UK, also similarly. So what do we create for such people? So they've been left behind because only a few of them are able to come out. Well, if we have planned for such people in that bracket, because the same system of education we've doing for years is the same one we're still following. And I wonder why. Not everybody can memorize. So if you can't memorize, you classify it as a failure. And so that's why we want to find concrete solutions. We know that things cannot change in 5, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8 years, but we can start that foundation. Maybe the next 20, 30, 40 years, we start getting things right. So over again, back to you, Rania, and thank you again for Dr. Yamin for mentioning that we shall be launching GAPS, and we will create a structure that will support people, the elderly, bring out the greatest things in them and help to nurture that and turn into great wealth. That's part of our zeal. Thank you, Dr. Yamin, for mentioning that. Thank you. Over back to you, Rani.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Abdul. So now I would like to request Dr. Emmanuel to take the floor and expose his views. Dr. Emmanuel, are you here? Emmanuel Lachu.
Before Emmanuel speaks, I'd like to come in and say for all of us to give a great thanks to Emmanuel Atsu. He's a great young gentleman, a technologist based in Ghana, and he's been heading the technical team. That's why I said, please visit the website and see the great work that's been done by the technical team. We almost speak every day, night and day, trying to make sure things are done properly. And so I think we want to commend him for the commitment he has put in into ensuring that we have a very successful event come 28th to 30th of October in India. Over to you, Emmanuel.
All right, thank you very much.
And Emmanuel, if I come in again, also mention briefly, like we said, whatever you do, there's nothing called charity. Whatever you do, if you don't plan in terms of sustainability, it will fall, it will fail. Yeah. So whatever you do, always think about sustainability. And so we have thought of an idea, because when they came up with Amazon, when they came up with, what do you call it, Amazon, you have many others similar to Amazon, Alibaba, and which other ones have you mentioned? Quite a number of them, which are now making trillions of dollars. They came with idea, they know the technology, but they didn't have the market. So we have the idea and we have the market. So that is, we have the market and we have the technology. So we also be launching in India what we call the Asgon discounted stores. And I pass over again to Emmanuel. Sorry for the interruption. Go on, Emmanuel. Over to you, man.
Yeah, thank you all for making time for this. And I want to thank you for this great opportunity. I believe that together we'll make the world a great place to live in. We are handling the technical aspect of the conference, and that's our contribution to make this vision a great success. And we're working seriously on the discounted stores. This is actually going to really bring that kind of competitive advantage in the system. And if you look at what it's currently in the market, as we have the Amazon, we have all these social commerce, we have the e-commerce in the market, we have Alibaba and the rest. I mean, they build the platform before getting the people, and we are fortunate to have universities, we have professionals who are already there, and we just have to add the technology bit to it. Currently, we're almost done with the platform. That's going to be unique. We're actually combining B2C, B2B, and also social commerce to it. We're going to have an innovation center where people can connect with, and we're also connected to the innovation centers that will be established across in Asia and Africa. So it's going to be a great platform, and we believe that it's going to really change the narrative, and also to improve on all that we do, and also to improve on what we do in the world, and how to also add value to society. So that's what we're working on, and we want to thank all of you for being a part of this great vision. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Emmanuel, for your great job. And we can go to Dr. Julian Plumley. Are you here? Or you can go to Ginu Matthew.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Myself is Ginu Matthew. I am from the private sector, not from the academia. I have a boutique consultancy which does mergers and acquisitions and capital raising, mainly helping technology companies with their inorganic and organic growth. I've been associated with Asgon and Abdul over a decade now. So I'm in the advisory board helping our president with some commercial inputs, etc., and connections here. I live in Kent, and not far from Asgon's office. And that's about me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is Her Excellency Rita Tanidi here with us? Your Excellency, are you able to speak now? If no, we can go to Dr. Mahindra. Okay, I think, is there anyone else who would like to speak and hasn't speak so far? Dr. Mahindra, okay, thank you.
Yeah, good morning.
Mahendra is there. Mahendra, do you want to speak?
No, not in this here. I just wanted to share that I'm very happy to glad to be here. I'm just helping a lot of youngsters over here in various aspects. So on my field, I'm just learning by being part of this association. So I'm going to talk with all our universities around here and take the message from Mr. Abdul.
And he has taken a lot of interest in promoting our conference, our activities. I do have a world record of conferences. You already know. He's one of my fans, and I'm his fan, obviously. He's a great guy. He has a lot of other things he does, and we need to collaborate with him and talk to him about major goals that he has, and he's actually implementing. He's in Houston, Texas area.
Okay, thank you very much. Silvana, you would like to tell us something?
Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on the part of the world. I'm here in Argentina now. I'm from this part of the world, but working globally and moving maybe next year to UAE. I'm part of this association of ASGON because I have a purpose that is to build the best storytelling we can write all together as a legacy to live while living to the next generation from today. I think that is the best moment to do that all together. And as founder and CEO of the Family Business Global Movement and Next Gen Global Movement, I'm a sort of bridge, being coach and being agricultural engineer also, to help and to support the next gens and our senior generation also to walk the journey to the future. I always help them, support them, listening their feelings, listening their needs and challenges, facing their future. I have heard some of you talking about this, like Dr. Sarkit Singh and furthermore of us. So I think that we need to work all together for this supporting. And what I think that is, we need to listen them about what are they looking for the future system of the education, because on them we can have a lot of answers. Yes, it's not just about our senior perspective, it's about what are they thinking about their future and the present also. So here is an amazing team to work together with no competition, it's just all in collaboration. And we are doing a great job. I looking forward to have a good conference and ahead. And my role is to approach all the people I can approach all over the world to let them know what is ASGON and what are we looking for and what are we focused on now and in the future. So just this. Thank you so much. And Emmanuel, you are doing an amazing job, and it's lovely to work with you, giving some feedbacks and see the result immediately. So Abdul and Emmanuel, it's a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Silvana. Always there like a rock. we thank you so much for the support and everything you've been doing. And it's quite amazing what you do. And we give glory to God that has put all of us together, including those who are new to this family. We have a WhatsApp platform where we just merely build relationship, you know, and you talk about your achievements and you ask for advice, we give you advices, but it's just because, like we said, in Africa, China is fully in everywhere in Africa today, but it's not building relationship the way India is building relationship in Africa. So you can understand the relationship is always the greatest, the most foundation you could build to sustain a society. So we believe in building relationship, and I think we're very glad to have all of you to at least this meeting. All we are saying is, ask ourselves questions. Where did we fail? Where did we go wrong? Why are we getting older and our communities are unsafe? We spend billions on creating prisons. Prisons have turned to industries. And we do not realize that these funds we have should be put more on our children so that they can look after us when we get old. So I used to run children. I had a charity for children. I had an orphanage in Africa. In UK, I set up the first children organization in the UK. And later I realized all over the world, we don't care about children. Children are not created to become vagabonds, miscreants, or destitutes. It's society that turned them to what they are. And society suffers for not looking after the children. Indirectly, we're never thinking about ourselves. And so we think we still now have to look after ourselves by looking after children, which is very important. And education is a very important thing. So we are appealing to you, please. I want to send gratitude to the Secretary Generals of the Association of Africa Universities, that's the President General of the Asia Pacific Universities, which even allowed me to be on that board for the second time, even though I'm not an Asian. And also the university, the Association of Arab Universities, for at least agreeing that there's need to bring them together. And so we have the Global South University Association, which will not be possible even without your support. So if we create this association, then which means that structure is there for us to change mindset. And to support that structure is why we're creating the Center for Research Innovation, which is a think tank to support them. So we are on a very good course if we all try as much as possible. But note one thing, we're very flexible to ideas. We're willing to take in ideas and to see how much we can make it work. Most of us can still lay that foundation while we're still alive. Let's lay that foundation for change. UN has not. And we have passed our 3-point solution to the UN Secretary General. And we're using some of our contacts to get into the UN Secretary, because the UN itself now is like a, what will I call it? Probably I call it like a club, or you call it something else. Because most of the people in the UN, when you bring an idea, they feel threatened. That is the system we've created. And let me use this opportunity to say other thing, that when we look at government, we are living two parallel lives. You have the government on one side, you have the civil society. But ask a question, who is government? It's the civil society. Whoever is in government is part of the civil society. So we tend to call civil society one side and government one side. And unfortunately, we find that we create a system called system, which is the governance. Because for instance, when you talk about the problem of the global south, within the United Nations, there is a larger team there, larger body in the United, which is called the G77. But nobody ever questioned the G77. You talk about the UN for developing countries. G77 is there, which are, ambassadors represent different countries, who actually pass whatever relates to development of the developing countries. And then you realize then you have what you call the UN Office of South Cooperation, which is based in Switzerland. Then you have the South Center. These are all issues that came from issue of the non-aligned movement. Then you have the South Center, which Nyerere, President Nyerere, former of Tanzania, was there as the chairman. So there has been things our leaders had done very well, but unfortunately, somewhere something went wrong. And that's why we said, as long as we're still breathing today, let us collectively come together, because we lack nothing under partnership. So please, whatever way you can support this movement, which belongs to all of us, let us see how we can make, we're lucky that the government has agreed to work with us, to support us in this event, because we as an organization believe that anything government is not involved, we're not going to touch it, because it doesn't go far. After all, the tax you all pay is what keeps the machinery of governance. And then when we create that system, we fail to realize it's not the problem of the politicians that we employ, that we elect every 4 or 5 years. It's a system that's been created, and we now have what is called civil servants that now guide that system, which the system itself, it's what we should be addressing. So that system we create, we have civil servants, but mind you again, you coined the word civil servants. What is the meaning of servants? But in real sense, are they servants? So these are issues we need to look at. And so the education we are getting, we all know, has to be changed one way or the other, particularly issue of ethics and principles of what I call discipline. And that's also we said we would try to bring yoga. Yoga is essential, because when people go through hard times to get into work, if you give them 30 minutes, even in school, 30 minutes to get into themselves, you can be rest assured that they will deliver more and be more what we call productive than the way things are. So we believe yoga because some of us don't even know who we are. And when you don't know who you are, how can you just know other person when you're even afraid of your own shadows? So I think we can try to change the world, because the UN will rely on, this is 7 years of United Nations. I remember 74th year of the United Nations was being chaired by the UN General Assembly, was chaired by Ambassador Tijani of Nigeria. He was then the chairman of the UN General Assembly. And he said, during my time, I shall concentrate on building trust. And I imagine 74 years of UN, we're just talking about building trust. But however, it's never too late. So trust is very important. And I believe it's based on that trust that all of us, because we have set up committees. We have the, what do you call it, the logistics committee. We have the publicity committee. We have the fundraising committee, as well as we have the awards committee, so that we can at least appreciate good practices, so that others can emulate good practices. That's why we have the awards committee. So, and we've been meeting for the past 1 year, planning, discussing to get us to where we are today. So please, those who are new to this platform, we need your support so that at least we can start saying we are laying the foundation for change. Also, like we said, we are giving the 3-point solution. I mean, I'm very brief. The 3-point solution we gave to the UN Secretary General are 3. Because if you think there are other ways or better than what we are giving, we're open to it. But the 3-point solution we've given to the Secretary General of the United States, United Nations, is 1. 1 is to review the international rule of law. That's number 1. And I can pick one point in there, because when we talk about human rights, we forget that even under labor is a great issue, because under labor, you find that a lot of young people, they live in debt perpetually their lives, because when they go to university, they're already in debt. By the time they finish university, they have to look for work maybe about 7, 10, 15, 20 times. You know how many jobs that Jack Twain was turned away from. So imagine they have to borrow money to go and look for a job. Eventually, they have to look good. They have to take transport. So they're borrowing money. By the time they now get the job, after having maybe 2 or 3, what will I call it, people that will, what do we call it, that will be able to references, then they have to work for 30 days before they get paid. That is itself is slavery. Note the point that the 30 days they have to work, they still have to borrow money. So already they are in total debt. And then not only that, 6 months, you can fire them without any excuse. Oh, for God's sake. and nobody is looking at that law all over the world, we want to see that changed. If you give 10% or 20% of the salary to a new staff, I can bet you will be more, your company will realize more money or more profit because that person can have a settled mind and be more productive. But we don't think in that manner. So we're looking at such areas. Now, the second one, that means how to do it, everything is being simplified towards the UN Secretary General, how to carry it out, because we all have great knowledge or whatever, we have ideas, but the problem is about strategy. So experts all over, the strategy is failure, not putting the right peg in the right hole. And then you will let the second point is teachers and parenting have lost their values in our society. Teachers and parenting, we need to revive it. We need to give more values to our teachers and to parenting. Every parent wants to now go and work and say, I'm not a housewife. So it's like, we forget one thing, that the child you're looking after is the future of tomorrow. But rather, you get a nanny who does not have that experience or the kind of love you have for your child, and you employ that nanny to look after your child, and you go out there work because you want a collar job or you want to join other people out there. But that child, you're forgetting that child itself is the future of the state. So parenting and teaching, we need to revive the value. The third one aspect is the African adage that says it takes a village to raise a child. It's not a matter of just my child, because when you're at work, your child is somewhere else. When your child goes to school, it meets with different people from different environments, different classes. So the point there is that every child is everybody's child. But our mindset now is just my child. And that's part of our failure of humanity. So we want to look at all those three, bring the components of people in government and the civil society together in such meetings that will be set by the Secretary General, where we can now start a process of ensuring that we need to revisit the issue of international rule of law, because most of our laws actually mitigate against a lot of young people, millions of people. And then secondly, the aspect that we have to revive teaching and parenting. And the third one is that we need to look at the African adage, it takes a village to raise a child. So there's a lot of things. We know there's a lot of work we have to do, but we know that we do not lack resources and we do not lack experts. So let's mind our mindset to say, we came here, we're all on borrowed times. What happened in the next 5-10 minutes is not of our knowing, we don't know. That people couldn't wake up last night, they wake up in the morning. So there's something driving us. We're here for a purpose, and please together, let us lay that foundation for change. I thank you very much. And in closing this meeting, if anyone has things to say, please just put it on the chat, and Rania will call you.
I would like to do, firstly, I want to thank you, Mr. Diwale, Abdul Muhammad. You have been very inspirational to all of us, including me, and very, very easy to approach. And I want to try to match his excellence in ability to be reached, which is my bad habit also. I'm okay with whatever you want to do. Please contact me. My email address is so simple, simply says drtarasmurthy@gmail.com. I'm on LinkedIn. My phone number is all there. Please contact me. Join the WhatsApp. That's what he very clearly said. I'm just to repeat that. Otherwise, you will not know what each others are, coming up with and so on, adding value. Bring other leaders. Even though I've sent, hundreds of emails and messages all over, right? And so potentially, I'm going to request Mr. Diwale and get his permission, if you can do one more webinar before the actual 3-day conference, probably in a week or 10 days, that will also be valuable. Those who could not join for a scheduled conflict, we will feature them. One of them is the IEEE President-elect, which is a very large organization, 370,000 paying members, publications bigger than anyone else.
Can I comment, Dr. Moti? Without apologies, please. Anyone that supports the idea that Dr. Moti has just said, just raise your hand, we can see you, and we know so that we agree. If you want, I will say I support.
That's good.
Anyone that supports that we should have next Friday should be the next one. Please, if you can, if you think it's necessary and you'd like to be there, just raise your hand, please. I'm raising mine.
I'm following the leader. and then someone can take a screen capture.
Yeah, please raise your hand.
We are not going to take you.
So that
because we raise your hand.
Should do what we want to do. So I think how many numbers? Who's going to be the judge? Ritu, can you be the judge, please? How many of us? Ritu, can you please count and say whether we should or not?
Lakshmi Prasad, raise your both hands.
If Ritu cannot, Silvana, could you please tell us?
I'm there. I'm in.
Yeah, Ritu, can you tell us if yes or no?
Yes, I'm there.
So it's a yes. Thank you very much. And please put your hands down, please. But please, we want commitment. Next week meeting is about who is going to do what, who is bringing in what, who is going to be corporate sponsors, who are the participants that are going to register. So let's ask them to register and let them bring them on board. And then we know that because we only have 3 weeks to ensure, we have 2 weeks to ensure we have good corporate sponsors. Thank you, Dr. Moti. We have a very good experts who can really, please put your hand down. Yeah. I'm sure that hand is going to pain you, man. Put your hand down.
I have the screenshot. I have the
Dr. Moti, put your hand down.
I have, you can't.
No. I only one more point.
Down, please.
No, he wants to say something.
Okay, please say something. I didn't know. I thought she was just. Sorry about that. Go on then, please. Go on, please.
May I just make sure that I say that you please contact me, call me. I know Emmanuel R2 and then Mr. Abraham Paul Vatican Sharif. I like to pronounce his full name a lot of times, and we don't get a chance to do it. Feel free to call me anytime. I have no life, no wife, nothing. 24 hours you can call me. People know already can attest to me. And I'll be glad to talk.
It's never too late to have one, okay? It's never too late to
have one. That's okay. That's what I mean. We are here to work with you. Yeah.
So thank you very much. So the point is, please, the reason why we're meeting, because we must say why. We all agreed. So we did not ask, what are we going to achieve? So since we all agree, please, let's be talking about how many sponsors we have, how many participants we have, and then any other government. We already, like I said, we're talking to some, ambassador, the former president of Sri Lanka, who will also bring in some former presidents or immediate or current president, because on the charter we have on the what do you call it, the research center is on the level of grand patron shall be presidents, prime ministers, and also former presidents or prime ministers. Then we have patrons who then are experts, and those who are quite versatile in their midst, and ministers will be on patron level. Then we now have a think tank of experts in different fields. It's a lot of work, but we've been on this and we've been planning it. So please, the website is there. Let people go in there. If they want to be more convinced, let them join us, in our next webinar, so that they can make up their mind that this is the place to be. We've got the market. So what else are they looking for? We've got the experts. We've got everything you can talk about. So I think anyone that comes in and participate, there is a plus for that person or that organization. I've had someone who said, oh, at the moment now, because of recession, we don't have some. And I said, excuse me, hang on. You see, there was something we brought out on the platform recently. A young person, I'll be very quick with this. A young person was sold to go and sell, I think, a rock. And he went to a market. The first market he went to is where they did not know the value as much. So they said, okay, we pay you £2. And then he went to the dad, and his dad said, go to this other market. He went there. They had a bit of understanding of that value. They said, we buy it for £200. Then he said, no, you go to another, and went to the third market, and they said they buy it for $200,000. It depends on the market, on the way you are, and the communication, how you communicate. This we all understand. But the point is, we've created, because it's taken out a year as a team to meet regularly, to discuss, and now we're saying we have 2 weeks to the time, and we need to make sure that, as Dr. Moti has proposed, we will make sure next week we can very clear that our conference is made. God bless you all. And anyone has something to say, please feel free to say it. And then Marcia, we're waiting for you to speak to us. And before I go to that, I've been asked to just say from the Deputy High Commissioner, Tani Idi, I think that thing still stayed there, because she sent me, they said, she said regards and greetings to everyone on the platform. She said they entered the meeting. That was why she was in the office and the High Commission. Please, I entered the meeting and even saw you speaking. That is when I was talking then. So, but I could not hear the sound. We tried in the office, but it could not work for me. So I have just left the office on my own. Please give my sincere regards to everyone. You guys are super. Thank you. That's a word from the Dr. Tani Idi to all of you. Thank you very much. And I give it over to Rania to look at those who would like to speak, and then we'll be able to find a way to, and Marcia will also
Dear Marcia, yes, Marcia, do you like to say something?
A scope of wisdom. We are Aston, the script D is gonna change everything, cause our collective general intelligence, it feels like this. We all love the world and we're together in kinship, like a multicultural togetherness like never seen before, because we love the world. We understand that knowledge is to share for all. And therefore we are the solution of this century that's gonna be remembered. Our ancestors, we are the ancestors of future generations. And we're speaking multicultural languages and intelligence. Collectively will change what university means. Because we no longer an ivory tower that is hierarchical. Indeed, we are as God, changing all the scripts. We are the dreams coming true of everyone. Indeed, love, love, love. Pleasure to be here with all of you. We are one.
Thank you very much, Marcia. I'm sure we have someone called Daniel, and then also VJ. That's we have another VJ who is also been with us, who is also our partner on media partner. I know he's been around for a while now. Whether he's still on there, I'm not sure. But however, without that, if we don't get any hand up to speak, Rania, I will ask, can we ask Dr. Colin Coulson, rather before, give us a lasting word in terms of the support he thinks we can get from IOD and many others that he's been associating with, and how he can connect them to be at the next meeting, or to also go to our website and see the benefits that will accrue to them, not only in terms of the CSR, but at least in terms of the business or services. And then we'll ask Dr. Yadiz Yamin to please close the remarks for this meeting. I know that Dr. Moti will be doing a lot with other co-chairpersons so that they can really be able to structure the program itself. And I'll be working closely with Dr. Moti for us to ensure that we also, because whatever we're doing, there are people who are in more business, and we are creating business for them because we have the population that buys their services. And I think we need to join hands. And those in government who believe in that, working closely with NGOs, we need to also bring some of them to listen to us so that we can have a wonderful event. Like we said, it's an hybrid event, so it's for everybody. So if we can ask Dr. Colin Coulson to address us, and then we call Dr. Yamin, to give us at least a picture of all that we've said and what we should be looking forward to. Thank you. Dr. Colin Coulson Thomas, please.
Yes, hi there. I was just thinking, I put into the chat because I've been intrigued by everything that I've heard, and will be aware, Abdullah, I've got a variety of international leadership roles for different organizations, and they particularly embrace Asia, India in particular, and Africa as well. A chance of an education institution there. And going forward, we're a collection of excellent people. But when I look at boards, I know of many boards that are a room of excellent people, but I don't see a board that's going to have an impact because they've got a diversity of interest and purposes. And I think ultimately the impact will depend very much upon the extent to which we can align what we're about and what our priorities are. You know, my overriding impression of today is that everyone is very well meaning, and you couldn't get a better group of human beings. You know, if you had to appoint trustees of your state, if you had a month to live, or indeed if you're looking to board, you know, the potential of the group is enormous. But we do need to focus. You know, we need to think about what we are concentrating on, and a lot of the things that people have said. Like you mentioned yoga, and in fact, my next article for the one journal on Indian ancient wisdom is actually about yoga and whether we can repurpose that and build in the other things in Indian ancient wisdom about living in harmony with nature, so that we can address, you know, some of the challenges that I was talking about earlier. You know, there's all sorts of things we can do. But some of the things we've talked about today actually take time. And going back to your concern for children and young people and their futures, you know, we don't have much time before we start triggering tipping points. You know, we start releasing large amounts of methane, all sorts of things could happen almost at any moment in some cases, after which, you know, things like global warming become unstoppable. So I'm driven by a sense of urgency and the need to focus. And earlier in my life, you know, you're probably aware, you know, I spent a lot of time, for example, in Africa, in war zones, you know, trying to stop conflicts as a volunteer. You know, I've been in a crashed plane, I've been in a plane on fire, I've been in situations where I haven't expected to live until the end of the day. So to me, you know, life is precious. I'm only glad to be alive. I don't want any more than that. But because I've seen how precious time is, and I'm a lucky survivor, and I have to carry the fact that I've survived and others haven't. But to me, time is precious, which is why I do stress focus and concentrating upon some of the things that really are urgent, you know, not just for us, but they're urgent for mankind. But certainly in terms of the event in October, you know, I'm happy to contribute, you know, speak if invited, but I'll certainly do what I can.
Can you unmute, Dr. Abdul? Can you unmute?
Yeah, you're on mute.
You are mute. Can you unmute, Dr. Abdul?
Yeah, he is still on mute. He's not realizing it. Somehow he's not even hearing us.
Oh, thank you very much for that. Sorry, I was just talking on. So before I call Dr. Thank you very much again, Professor Thomas Colson. Before I call Dr. Yamin, can I call Vijay Kumar? Over to you, Vijay.
Hi, dear all. It's a great privilege to be part of this August audience, August group of eminent people. It's my great privilege, and I am also emboldened by the great zeal and zest shown by our Abdul Diwali, and is really directing me like a journalist and who is also an entrepreneur to devote time for humanity. And the value that he carries with him are really amazing. And I'm very thankful to Mr. Diwali for giving me an opportunity to understand what he is doing and what his vision is. So the current crisis that humanity is facing is such that there is a lot of what we call extreme ideas, and where which we are also losing the values already existed in humanity in the initial phases. It's because of the inherent traits of human beings. We started what we call fighting each other. That is evident in the geopolitics that we are witnessing currently. Having said that, now we have a clear mandate what to do, what not to do. And Mr. Diwali has already identified those path. I am once again, sincerely express my happiness to get associated with him. Going forward, a lot of other programs we have to envision. I do hope that this is only a beginning. A lot more people from India and across the globe will join hands with him in this noble cause. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Vijay Kumar. We really appreciate you. Thanks for the support. You know, we can see your contribution and we appreciate it. And so if any other one person would like to say something before I call on Dr. Yamin to give us a total review of summary of what we have discussed today. And as we look forward to next week, we will try to bring in some also very important personalities to join us. And like I said, let's see that most of us here will just be saying, I have this person, I have this organization, to include in part of supporting the success of this event in October. So I will then say, with no hands up there, we call on Dr. Yamin to kindly give us an overview of what we've been able to achieve
Thank you,
today.
Diwali. I think today's discussion has been quite interesting. It's covered quite a wide perspective of what is going to happen in the summit. And in response to what Colin Thompson was saying, I agree with him that there has to be focus, but since we are getting that electronic platform in which these discussions after the summit will keep on going, and small groups will be working on different aspects of the overall purpose. I think it is possible to do that in multidimensional form with taking aid of technology such as AI, such as ML, and so on and so forth. So I agree, in principle, I agree with Dr. Thomas that we need to have a focus. I also agree that the time is not unlimited to make the changes come into play for the world. For our future generation, our life is more finite than our future generation's life, and so on. So I think using the technology as we perceive, as Emmanuel has mentioned, that the technology platform is being developed and should be ready soon, and that allows us to actually optimize and maximize at the same time our value that can be generated from discussions between ourselves, between groups, between special interest groups, people who are interested in saving the planet in terms of pollution and things like that, climate change, people interested in creating food security, for example, etc., etc. These are all parts and parcel of the social change that we want to bring through the medium of education, and it is possible to coordinate and collaborate various different domains together to actually materialize and commercialize into change. So I believe that it is possible to do that, number one. And I believe it can be done very, very effectively, and a lot of benefits can start to accrue in a very short period of time. It doesn't mean it will start to accrue tomorrow, but it will start to accrue in a very short period of time, and it will be a lot more permanent permanent impact into the societal change. And we have destroyed the society. We have created fractured world. It didn't happen overnight. It has been done for almost 150 years. As Dilwale talks about, the fourth industrial revolution is before that. That has we have contributed towards the destruction of the planet. We have contributed towards the destruction of the societies, and so on and so forth. We have contributed where for no reason war can be created. I mean, just look at the past decade or so. One war finishes, another war starts, and so on and so forth at some junction in some place. So all these are very complex factors, and I think with the support of technology, we should be able to do it in a very harmonized way, in a collective way, to achieve our goals, and so on and so forth. Sure enough, there might be hurdles in between. We can always overcome those hurdles as we go along. Thank you very much. I think it was very constructive and very valuable discussion. A lot of aspects have been discussed, which we all have been listening to, and each of those aspects from the esteemed speakers were articulated very well, and I think we are ready for action, real action, as against just creating this hype. We are really ready for action, and we will be able to make some beginning of a change in the society, which will then grow exponentially. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yamin. Thank you. I know that Dr. Singh would like to talk to us. Dr. Singh, if you give me, and Dr. Moti would like to speak. Let me just quickly put something in. You could see the great expertise that Dr. Singh has. Similarly, Dr. Coulson Thomas, similarly, Dr. Moti, similarly, Dr. Yamin here, and quite a number of us here, and those not in this platform. A lot of people are doing great things. The issue we're talking about is like trying to patch the cracking wall. What we're trying to say is remove everything and create a new foundation. Without that foundation, there's not much we can achieve. So that is the essence of what we're looking at. There are many experts out there, and many who have been frustrated with the system. How can we bring them together so that we can start a new foundation, which is based on trust, transparency, and believing that of partnership. And that's the essence of why we're here. So over to you, sir, Dr. Singh. Dr. Singh, I thought you wanted to say what?
Dr. Sarabjit Singh.
Yeah.
Yeah, over to you, sir.
Yeah. What I see that key area is the education. Education has to be restructured. Technology being the driving force, we have to change our education system at primary level, secondary level, and the university. The regulating authorities in India in particular have done well. They have already gone into, from 2017 onward, most of the universities and the colleges have adopted new curriculum which will enable the young generation to be more productive, more efficient, and more deployable. I personally have good experience in starting engineering colleges, starting a university, and working with foreign university for over the year. So my contribution could be in restructuring the technical education so that it is affordable, it is inclusive, and it is in line with the speed with which the technology is moving fast. If we remain contented with what we have, things won't work. Alignment has to come as rightly brought the focus. We are like a camera. If camera is not focused, the picture will be blurred. Focus means concentration of energies, resources, synergy for common cause. Now, through sharing and networking as this forum is, there whether universities are in Africa, the universities are in Middle East, universities are in India, or Singapore, or any other country, there's so much of wealth of knowledge. How to bring that, how to make it shareable, affordable, so that the nation building by the new generation is facilitated by adopting technologies. So I could be contributing personally in curriculum improvement, restructuring, and trying to bring in how to integrate, not only innovate, how to integrate and accelerate. One simple point is speed. Speed is the key things in today. If we are slow, we'll be left behind. So moving with the speed of the change which is taking place during industrial revolution, which is going around, we who are in a position to steer a young generation, we should do it fast thinking, fast data collection, fast analysis, fast decision making, fast sharing. So speed is the key thing. If we go too slow, we'll be left behind, and the world is not going to wait. It's moving fast. And I try to do sharing of technology, particularly for career development. I have written 3 books. My second book was on career challenging during global uncertainty. Uncertainty is all over. To counter that, we have to take action, and education is the key.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And
Thank
I
you
think
so
I
much,
will
Dr.
contribute.
Thank you so much, Dr. Singh. Well taken and noted some of the points you raised. So we just coming to the conclusion of today, and we will ask, thank you again, Rania, for moderating the program, and Dr. Moti will speak, and then after that, Marcia will give us vote of thanks, and then we will end of the meeting with a song. Thank you.
Yeah, I want to thank Rania. She was so inclusive, made sure everyone, it is something that is a pleasure. Everyone get to talk, and they are leaders. There is no followers. Everyone is a leader. That's important. Secondly, on education, and I'm an inventor, paradigm shift, novel paradigm, seminal contributions in many areas. One of them is in education. One aspect only I'm telling. This is called video game based education. I ran a public listed company. I'm the inventor, doing all that, and also the CEO. This was an Australian stock listed at that time. For people, just for Professor Yamin to make a note. I used to give a series of talks in education conference, especially, where the theme was video game-based education from age 3 to 100. I don't want to burden anyone below 3 age. And video game, and they're playing, they have no idea they are learning something. science, dynamics, mechanics, history, everything. They're playing, have no idea, and they're playing, enjoying it, because that's how the kids think. You tell them education, broccoli, no one wants to eat it. That's what we say in America. Everyone wants a cookie. So we give a cookie, but inside we hide. This is my invention and our public company, etc., where they play, and afterwards you ask them about any topic that they didn't realize that they knew it. This is working with special things in brain and pedagogy, etc. covered. This is already implemented. I'll be glad to work with any of you, education enthusiasts, etc. So I have 45 areas, paradigm shifts, novel paradigms. I'll be glad to work with you to do that as part of the whole thing that we are doing here. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Martin. Thanks a lot, appreciate it. So before I call on Marcia, I also want to remind you of what Dr. Singh said earlier, talking about both the primary, tertiary, secondary, and universities. So I'm sure, Dr. Singh, this is something I believe there is an association of principals in India. There's an association of principals. We're trying to reach them so that they can also take part in this particular summit, because we're going to extend to not just secondary, even to primary, so that when you catch them younger, you're able to build, because when they get to university, they already have a kind of mindset. So we're going to walk more further down to the primary level. That's part of our mission, and that we're after. So I just said I should mention that to you, since you did mention similar when you made your very brief speech. Dr. Vijay Jain, we also noted the things you said. You might have very brief words, but a lot of action. So we'll be getting in touch with you and others that have taken pains, because we know you're all very busy people, and we believe in working with busy people, because what matters is, what are we all busy to achieve? And the point is, as long as it's something that's better to society, humanity, I think is worthwhile, that our time is quite worthwhile, I would say. So I will leave it to Marcia to thank everybody and those who have left, because they also have other engagements. So we look forward to having you next week. So over to Marcia. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
We cannot hear you, Marcia. We didn't hear the bell ringing. I was hearing bell ringing for a different reason in my ears. Please.
Then I suppose it was meant to be a silent meditation instead. We never know. Thank you. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. So breathe in. Breathe out. Aware that the breath of life is everyone's right. The breath of life is everyone's right. We breathe together on earth as a generation, ancestors of future generations. We are together preserving life, using collective general human intelligence, with AI and other forms that are to be, together with us, understanding this wonderful way of being, interbeing, the totality of our being. And in collective intelligence, we are grateful for this amazing possibility that we are working together multiculturally with amazing co-creation and intelligence that has never been conceived before. This is a success for us to be here together and to join forces and the love we have for life itself while we are alive. So we leave this meeting in gratitude that we have taken another beautiful step towards an education that is a revolution
of communication in the era that we will foster peace, sustainability, and love for everyone in equality and equity. Great love to all like this. Thank you.
Thank you. Silvana, are you joining in?
I'm singing. Together, we are together. Together, moving together. Go, Marsha.
Changing sound. What did you say, Silvana?
Together, move together. Together, create together. Together. Let's go. Join. For a better, sustainable world. Together. Together, we need together fast. Together. The sinners and the youth, the sinners and the youth, the world needs us together.
Together, all together, together, all together. We are the global love that is shared multiculturally with everyone in this. It's time for this.
So thank you very much, and we'll see all of you next week. Have a lovely weekend. Keep well and stay safe. And let's make the next week much, much greater than what we had today. Let's see results when we meet next week again. Please feel free to call us anytime. Share your mind with us. Give us contacts that you have so that we can at least let them know about this event so that they can be part of us. God be with you all. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you.